Brady with a question about this year's team against the 2020 team. Where do we think those compare?
That's interesting because this year's defense against that Justin Fields offense and the running quarterback, they've had some issues equating and keeping up with the running quarterback, like a quarterback who could run. So that's one side of it. But then that defense, the 2020 defense, has to stop this Ohio State offense. And if you're playing it in the WAC or and I guess it's kind of like Michigan. Where's the game? What are the conditions? And that's who who I'll tell you I'm going to pick in that one. But it would be difficult for the 2020 defense, I think, to keep up with this offense.
Be a nice test for the.
Yeah, I think this team's better than that team. I don't think we ever got the full picture of what that team was going to be all about because guys were in and out all season,
just like this
COVID.
year.
And they certainly didn't have the entire team when they played Alabama, that they got run off the field, against Alabama. So, and you can debate Stroud and Fields all day. Fields was banged up a little bit, I thought, down the stretch in that season, obviously, and maybe not as efficient, maybe not as good, maybe not as athletic as he could have been. And, maybe the better comparison's 2019 when they actually had a working defense to a degree, and you had guys like Chase Young and Jeffrey Okudah. But I don't know.
Give me 2019.
What's that?
I'll take 2019 in that one. I think that
that
team kind of got screwed by the officials there against Clemson, but also had some red zone issues against Clemson in that game to where they were kicking too many field goals and allowed one play to cost them that game. But
yes.
I
don't think they beat LSU because I think Joe Axborough was just beyond. That team was just beyond. And Cookie Monster Orgeron, I think that would have been a hard one to take down. But, it would have been a fun game, I think. The upshot to that.
I would have loved to have seen that secondary at Ohio State in that pass defense, including Chase Young against Joe Burrow in that passing game. I think it would have been an epic game in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because say what you will about the officiating and Ohio State blowing the game versus the officiating and how much was the blame there. If you just watch the line of scrimmage against Clemson and then translate to Clemson trying to take on LSU, and that game was still, for as much as it turned out to be a blowout, was 28-25 somewhere around start of the fourth quarter. So it was competitive. And I just got to think, that rushing defense to the previous question, or that rushing offense with Trey Sermon, as hot as he was, and the offensive line blowing up Northwestern and Clemson, that would be interesting against this Ohio State defense. It would have been interesting more so against Alabama. Not that they would have won the game, but, man, you're just taking a dynamic runner off the field, and then you're basically putting a fullback in the game to carry your offense or your rushing offense the rest of the game.
Mark, I'll tell you what would have been an interesting game. 2020 Ohio State against a 2020 Michigan, had Michigan not declined to play that game.
And that actually was possible. We're talking fantasy with the rest of them, but that was
fantasy now
on the schedule.
Yeah,
that was actually on the schedule. Well, the two will hook up here very soon, and I don't know if the stakes and the hype and all that could be ratcheted up anymore, but I think it can this year.
It's going to be. Somebody's going to say something they shouldn't, or something is going to happen. And it's because even yesterday with Ryan Day, Michigan was talked about more than Indiana. Northwestern was the number one topic of conversation. Then it was Michigan, then it was Indiana, and it's going to continue to be that way. And honestly, it should.